Hi everyone, it's Jill Foster here for Penny Black, and I am so excited that you're joining us today to check out all of the new stamps and dies and masterpieces made simple that are a part of our new love themed collection called Bunches of Love. So, this collection has stamps and dies and masterpieces made simple that are great for Valentine's Day, but also really great for any love theme, thinking of you, and even friendship cards too. So let's take a look first by looking at two of the really versatile sentiment sets that are part of this collection. The first is 30-892 Love is Joy. And if you look throughout this video, you're going to see these next two sentiment sets used on all of the cards. I just loved using all of these. The other sentiment set is 30-894, Sending Some Love. And again, if you want to hit pause at any time to really check out these sentiments closer, feel free to do that. Like I said, you'll be seeing them on the cards throughout the video. Next, let's look at some of our critter cuteness. We have some new stamps and some matching dies. The first is 30-798 Love Everywhere and 51-699 Love Everywhere cutout. So you're going to have the great matching die set for these stamps. And I made several cards with these stamps because they are just so adorable. And again, like you can see here on this card, you can send this card to a friend as a thinking of you, missing you, sending love, anniversary. You can use these stamps and dies, and they're really designed to allow you to get the most with your product. So if you want them for more general thinking of you, birthday, hello cards, you may want to use a more sort of neutral color scheme or less of the reds and pinks we think of with Valentine's. But if you add those reds and pinks, then you can make them very Valentine-esque, if so to speak. The next set is 30-888 Next to You. I love the whimsical look of these stamps, and they're just very simple to use, not a lot of coloring required. I just stamped these, added a touch of light gray shading, and then fussy cut them out and added them to my scene. Here is a very simple one layer card. I stamped the images, painted them with watercolor, and then did a little masking and ink blending in the background. But I just think those flamingos are so cute and so happy. Next up, we can't have critter cuteness without these adorable teddy bears. This is 30-889 Fill My Heart. I love the happy looks on these teddy bears and their balloons. Again, these could also be used for birthday cards as well as Valentine's or love or anniversary themed. I made a pair of one layer slimline cards, just stamping these down, doing some very simple watercoloring and then masking and ink blending for the background. Here's the second in that set of two. You can also stamp these and then fussy cut them out and add to a more detailed and die cut background, which is what I have done here on this card, adding some border dies and some stitching dies and some ink blending to give these guys a sweet little scene. Next up, we have another really whimsical set. This is 30-891 Special Someone. This is cute, but also has an elegant touch with some really nice sentiments and flowers. So here is the first card. I just stamped and simply watercolored these and fussy cut them out and added them to my ink blended background. And then I wanted to create something a little more elegant and also more Valentine's feeling to it. And so I stamped and simply watercolored the heart and did some masking on the center of my card and ink blending on the outer edges, just for a little different look, but a very simple card to create and easy to mail without any bulk or layers. Now let's take a look at some of our new elegant and floral stamps. This first one is really a favorite for me. This is 40-816 Passion. I love the look of these heart flowers. And here I've created a card sort of stamping them off the edge of the card and using one of our die cut borders and background stamps. And now All of these cards will be listed on our blog with links to each product used on each card, and I will link to our blog down in the YouTube description box below. Here's another version of that same stamp, just using some different colors and a little bit different layout for the card. Next up is 40-817 Wholeheartedly. This is such a beautiful and again versatile stamp. For the first card, I wanted to make something with a little bit of a masculine feel. So even though it's a heart, I wanted it to have a masculine look. So I did that with my color scheme, coloring directly onto my stamp with water-based markers and stamping onto Bristol smooth paper and doing a little blending with water. And then for this, I use that same stamp but with some light gray stamping as a background, and it is the perfect sort of background to add some die cut florals to. Next up is 40-819 Heartstrings. For my first card, I went very simple, stamping this in brown ink and just coloring in those hearts. I also used some green marker on the leaves on that tree, a tiny bit of ink blending at the bottom, and a stamped sentiment, and this card was complete. This is also really great if you're creating any scenes with your stamps, and I've just used it tone on tone in the background. Next up is 40-820 Devotion. I have two colorways with this stamp. One that's a little bit more general and less like red and pink Valentine specific, just a way to send love, like a thinking of you card to someone. And I hope to have some videos on how you can easily use these brushstroke stamps with water-based markers coming soon. Here's that exact same stamp with a little bit different color scheme, and you can see how it gives it a totally different look. And I've just simply embellished it with a die cut border and a sentiment. This is a really fun set. This is a transparent stamp set, 30-890 Bunches of Love, and it also has an exact match cutout. And I made a few cards with this one. I love that idea of the envelope and just the flower spilling out of it. Could be used for any occasion. I did a couple of cards with it because I was having so much fun painting it and coming up with different color schemes for it. And with the exact match die, it is so easy then to cut it out, and there's lots of different ways you can add it to your card like you've seen on those last two. And then here is a card with the other image from that transparent set. I just stamped it, painted it in with Distress Ink re-inkers used as watercolors, used the exact match dies to cut it out, and added it to my ink blended background and scallop border die. Now, if you loved our Masterpieces Made Simple for your holiday and winter Christmas cards, we have two new sets here in this release, which we're so excited to share with you. The first is 50-005 Adorable Amore. Now, if you aren't familiar with our Masterpieces Made Simple, they are pre-printed onto high-end linen finished cardstock, and they are sized 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 inches. Great to fit on your standard A2 size cards. The second one is 50-006 Critter Cuddles, and these really make making a masterpiece of a card super simple, because what we've done for you is we have a brand new transparent stamp set that matches up perfectly the sentiments with these images and with these designs, and you can see that here. You can hit pause to check it out more. We also have 3 coordinating dies that we have curated from our past collections that work perfectly with these sets. So the first one here, you can see I've added one of those coordinating dies right there on top with that heart balloon. That's our heart balloons die. I've taken the Masterpieces Made Simple panel, and I've been able to just transform it into my own design. On this card, I've torn the corner, added some distressing, added our antique frames die, and then I've also added the Love Buds creative die layered on top. You see that blue sort of flower heart piece there. I've added to the tree and down below just to give it some extra dimension and that homemade touch. For this one, I've used the panel, mounted it onto my card, added the Stitches with Love die cut around it, and the sentiment below is one of the stamp sentiments from the coordinating new set, but the new die cut, or the die cut sentiment, 51-093 Heartfelt. And then again here you can see the beautiful coordinating sentiment up there on the moon, and then I've added and layered some stamping and some die cutting behind with some ink blending. Now the other Masterpieces Made Simple set is Critter Cuddles. Here again you can see the brand new transparent sentiment set that matches up perfectly with the images that are included with the Masterpiece panels. And then the three curated from past collection die cuts that work beautifully and easily with these panels. So here you can see where I've actually used the panel with our Stitches with Love border die or panel stitching die, sorry. And I've also added our Arger, how do you say that? Those hearts and the branch there, that die cut on top. The Heart Charms die cut has been added here on this Masterpieces Made Simple panel. Again, just such a fun little touch to make these your own, to add your creativity to it. You can use those heart charms in so many different ways with these Masterpieces Made Simple panels. And then the die cut Love, and then I've paired that up with one of the coordinating sentiments, and to add that forever, love forever. And I made a tag with this one. I used our tagged creative die with the Masterpieces Made Simple panel. Would be really great for Valentine's or anniversary gifts to add those on there. And here is another one of the panels, and I've just mounted that onto our Graceful Stackers die and added some twine and one of those coordinating sentiments. And it is a beautiful card, but very simple to create. Now, we also have pulled together for you and curated some versatile essential dies that can be used with any Masterpieces Made Simple set for really that perfect finishing touch. So these are very simple to create but have a definite wow factor. And the first is our 51-551 Stitch Circles Creative Die Set. And these cut a window with the stitching around the outside, which is perfect for layering right on top of these Masterpieces Made Simple panels. And you can see there I used the heart balloons die cut to just add a little extra dimension to pop that balloon sort of out of the frame. With the stitch circles here, I've also cut them twice to create sort of a double layer, and then you can see that You're the Very Best, that coordinating sentiment from the new sentiment set, just finishes it off beautifully. Here is another within that stitch circles creative die and the other coordinating sentiment. These cards are so simple to create and so fun. You could add some glitter like to the trees or the snow in the background if you wanted to add a little sparkle too. Now you've seen me use this and mention this a lot already. This is 51-597 Stitches of Love. It's a really useful creative die set because even though it works great with a sort of Valentine and love theme, it's not specific to that. So you can really use it on cards any time of year. And these cards are very simple to create. There was one you saw the heart charm on it, but the rest of these I have just mounted those Masterpieces Made Simple panels onto a piece of craft cardstock and then onto that stitched border or that stitched panel behind from the Stitches with Love die set. And I stamped the coordinating sentiments using shadow gray archival ink just right onto the panels. And I love how they just bring to life and really emphasize the message of the designs that are included in the Masterpieces Made Simple panels. Very simple cards, very easy to put together. You could even do these with kids if they wanted to make their own Valentines. They're also great to give to kids with these cute critters on there, really to give to anyone. And I wanted to show you here that Stitches of Love die set. I've also used it on some of these other panels and these other cards just as touches of stitching here and there. Finally, we have 51-658 Graceful Stackers. This is also, we've curated this here for you and brought this for you as a beautiful die set to use with these Masterpieces Made Simple. Here I've die cut the frames and added one of the Masterpiece panels behind, trimmed around the edges, and it just is like the perfect little window. I've also used some edging from the Graceful Stacker set along the sides of the Masterpieces Made Simple panels, so you could use this layout to create lots of cards. You can also use the Graceful Stackers Creative Die Set to create a window. So I actually did the die cutting on this brown piece of cardstock and then popped it up on foam tape or foam dots and layered it over the Masterpieces Made Simple panel. Here I used the Graceful Stackers to actually die cut the Masterpieces Made Simple panel itself and then layered onto another one of the layers. Both of these are included in that Graceful Stackers die set. And you can see here one more card with that Graceful Stackers, the largest size, layered behind the Masterpieces Made Simple die set. I sure hope you've enjoyed taking a look at our newest collection, Bunches of Love. I will have links to the new products and our blog and all of the other ways you can connect with Penny Black, like Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, and Twitter and Instagram and our website. I'll link all of those for you down in the description box below. And I'd love to know what your favorites are from this collection. So leave us a comment. We look forward to hearing from you. Happy stamping!